A drunk student nailed my nightly routine word for word. Then we found cameras in my walls. I'm a high school English teacher. Teenagers joke with me sometimes and I brush it off. The school holds a January ball for seniors. No alcohol allowed, but some try anyway. This year I was asked to chaperone. Music was loud, lights low. Two boys sat in the far corner, not dancing, hunched over a table. I know them well. They struggle in class and have a hard time with other students. Their hair was greasy and their eyes were shiny. When I leaned in, I could smell the sweet bite of liquor. I asked them to hand it over. One boy, let's call him Stuart, pulled the flask back and smirked. He said, "Come on, sir. Don't pretend you won't open that bottle of Bailey's when you get home. Feet up in your dressing gown, watching the new TV. Give us a break." I froze. My mouth went dry. I had just bought a bottle of Bailey's the weekend before. On quiet nights, I take a bath, put on my dressing gown, and watch a film. Over Christmas, my wife bought a new television. Those three details hit me like a punch. I asked, calm as I could, how he knew that. He said it was a lucky guess. I logged the flask and walked the hall, but my heart was pounding. The boys drifted out not long after. I finished the night pretending to watch the dance floor while my mind ran in circles. When the music ended, I locked the doors I was assigned and drove home. My wife was out of town for work. I stood in the hallway and listened to my empty house. I checked every room and every cupboard, then checked again. I changed into my dressing gown and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the new TV and feeling watched. I slept in short bursts. In the morning, I called my wife. I told her exactly what he said. She told me I must have shared those things without thinking. She said students remember odd details. I said I would never tell a class about my bath or my dressing gown. She said it sounded like coincidence. I went through my phone. My Instagram is private, not in my full name, and the profile photo isn't me. I don't follow students. On Snapchat, I only talk to my wife and a few close friends. I had posted nothing about a new TV or Bailey's. My stomach still felt sick. I made coffee and forgot to drink it. At school, Stuart was the same as always. Head down, homework missing, eyes on the window. I kept catching him in my peripheral vision and then felt silly because he wasn't looking at me at all. I told my supervisor what happened. She said I had misheard, or it was a wild but harmless guess, or both. That night I heard a car slow outside and I killed the lights and watched through the blinds. It drove away. I put the chain on the door. I walked the house again with my phone torch. I opened the loft hatch and called up into the dark to be sure. I slept on the sofa with the hallway light on. The next day I asked a friend to come by after work. We started with the basics. I turned off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. We scanned for unknown devices on the router. We shut the curtains, killed the lights, and used our phone cameras to scan rooms for the tiny glow from infrared LEDs. We moved slowly. We listened for tiny fans. We took off faceplates on sockets and looked for fresh screw marks. We checked vents, frames, the TV stand, and the backs of books. In the bedroom, my friend pointed at the smoke detector. "Was it always like that?" he asked. The edge didn't sit quite flush. The plastic looked a shade too white. I climbed up on a chair and saw a tiny dot buried in the grill. My hands went cold. We twisted the base and it popped off too easy. Inside was a small board, a lens, and a micro SD card. We set it on the dresser and took photos. We unplugged nothing. We put it in a zip bag and wrote the time on a note. My breath was fast and shallow. We kept going. In the living room, the paint near the TV socket felt rough. There was a pinhole in the wall I had never noticed. We eased off a bit of trim and saw another tiny lens. The hole had been drilled, filled, and painted. I tasted metal in my mouth. I stepped back. I dialed the police with shaking hands. I explained what we had found, word for word what the student said, and why I was scared. An officer told me to wait outside and not touch anything else. We stood on the front step. Blue lights turned the street a strange color. Officers came in, took photos, and sealed the devices in evidence bags. They asked who had keys, whether anyone had worked in the house, and if students knew my address. I gave them names and the flask report from the dance. I signed a statement and watched the bags disappear into a box. An officer said they would review the cards and check nearby cameras. He said to stay somewhere else tonight and to lock the doors behind them. He clicked the box shut. The zipper rasped loud in the quiet room. Blue light flashed across the new TV and then was gone. Now my friends are saying I'm paranoid for checking my home. Was I wrong here?